Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the whole Kimoji lawsuit that has been going on for years at this point, but has really been picking up steam in the last couple weeks and months, which people notice because David Levinson, the man who is suing Kim Kardashian, has started to make things more public and talk about how his life has been negatively impacted by this situation. And I and some other people have noticed that the story started to pick up steam around last month, like I said, but then it sort of went weirdly quiet. So I did want to sort of investigate into it and talk about where it started and kind of where we are now with the entire situation. So let's go ahead and get into it. This all goes back almost a decade to the creation of the Kimoji app, which, if you're unfamiliar, are Kim Kardashian themed emojis. Some of them included some phrases the Kardashians would say, a special peach emoji, which is a reference to Kim's booty, Yeezy shoes, and even several of Kim's infamous crying face. David Levinson, who's suing Kim, claims that he, along with Kim and two other employees, worked together initially to develop Kimoji in addition to another of his already existing apps. David and his team had already created an anti-cyberbullying app called Cinstagram. The app removed spam and unwanted comments, which were typically hate comments, from social media accounts. The user simply had to enter words into the app that they wanted filtered out of their comment section, and Cinstagram would do the rest. Kim was already a user of Cinstagram. And according to David, Kim's friend Jonathan Chebin reached out trying to secure a partnership between Kim and Cinstagram. It looks like these messages were exchanged via Instagram DM. After Jonathan, Kim later reached out to them on her own. A potential part of this partnership was that Kim would be the new face of Cinstagram. This would be big for Cinstagram, as the Kardashians were one of the biggest names in pop culture and would easily expose the app to a much larger audience. David claims that in July of 2014, he and his team met at Kris Jenner's house. Allegedly, they agreed on a 60-40 split for Kimoji, with David and his team taking the 60%. Then Cinstagram would be split evenly 50-50. According to David, Kim claimed that she and her team would file the Kimoji trademarks on their own because her likeness was being used, meaning they would also bear the cost. However, David claims that when they filed the trademark, Kim's team cut him and his partners out of the deal behind their backs. Things went further south and Kim called them back, claiming personal information of hers had been leaked. David claims no personal information of Kim's was shared, just a screenshot proving the deal with her had been secured. Because of the so-called privacy breach, David said Kim threatened to sue him and his partners for $5 million, with her attorney claiming emotional distress and defamation. To stop the lawsuit, Kim and her team wanted the trademark for Kimoji and the right to use the proprietary IP for a comment control project, which would likely be something very similar to Cinstagram. David and his partners were urged to sign a settlement agreeing to walk away from Kimoji and not speak about it anymore. In the end, both parties were allowed to continue developing their apps so long as David and his team didn't use Kim's name or likeness, and so long as Kim's team didn't use Cinstagram's software. David was the only one between his partners to not sign the agreement, who did so because they couldn't afford to keep fighting it. David said he refused to sign the release not only because it conflicted with a patent he had already filed, but because he felt the entire situation was suspicious. He claimed his attorneys informed him Kim and her team didn't even list the violation David was accused of correctly in the lawsuit. However, David's partner Daniel Rice did sign the agreement in David's place. This came out later during Daniel's declaration, which is basically a legal document explaining his side of the story. He also claimed that Kim's legal team would only drop the potential suit if she was allowed to continue developing Kimoji specifically. Daniel said in his declaration, Kim Kardashian would not want the world to know the effects of her decision to destroy multiple families and children's lives over the stolen concept. According to Kim's legal team, though, which included the powerhouse lawyer Marty Singer, David willingly signed all rights away to the Kimoji app. Kimoji was set to launch in December of 2015. The app contained over 250 emojis that related to the Kardashians, Kanye, or pop culture in some way or another. When Kim was promoting the app, she also said she was coming out with a censoring app for social media, and she was proud of the idea, which Daniel said made himself and his team sick to their stomachs to see. The day of its launch, Kimoji was downloaded thousands of times per second, which obviously generated a ton of money. Kanye rapped about it in his song Facts, saying, "Plus Kimoji just shut down the App Store, and we made $1 million a minute, we made $1 million a minute." Kim tweeted an apology to Apple for shutting down the App Store with all the traffic, yet Apple later denied this ever happened. On its first day, Kimoji, which sold for $1.99, was downloaded over 9,000 times a second. It was by far the most popular of the celebrity emoji apps and one of the most downloaded apps in the App Store for a while. The Kardashians really were trying to dominate the social media and mobile content space at the time. The sisters had their own apps where they shared personal and lifestyle content. The year before Kimoji launched, Kim released her mobile game, Kim Kardashian Hollywood, which had reportedly earned $160 million in revenue by 2016. Some reports estimated Kim took home about $45 million of that. Other reports have estimated that Kim Kardashian Hollywood was bringing in over $300 million a year at its height in the 2010s. Either way, because of the game's success and that of Kimoji, Kim eventually earned her place among a group Forbes deemed the new mobile moguls. Kim also expanded the Kimoji concept with Kimoji perfumes, which included a peach, a cherry, and one called Vibes. In February of 2018, Kim released a conversation heart line of the Kimoji perfumes, which reportedly made $10 million in just 4 days. In 2019, David filed a lawsuit against Kim for over $300 million. He claimed Kim stole both the idea and trademark for Kimoji, leaving David with nothing. According to him, the lawsuit was mishandled when his attorney at the time put the case in his website bio, though the case wasn't yet over. Kim's legal team threatened David with over $400,000 in fees from arbitration, which David said he was never part of. David also claims an LA Superior Court judge rejected his claims against Kim. Because he eventually started drowning in legal fees, and because he felt it was handled wrong, David voluntarily withdrew the lawsuit. David was so financially ruined by the legal battle that he lost his life savings, his business, and all the money he'd invested into Instagram. Eventually, David also lost his home and became estranged from his wife and 4 children. David said, "I lost my wife, my kids blamed me. They had a rough time at school. They were teenagers at the time and idolized that family, Kim and her sisters, and then this happened and it destroyed us." He claimed he'd been on a positive trajectory up until the situation with Kim Kardashian and that he blamed them for everything that had happened. To save money, David began living out of his 2011 Prius. He showered at gyms and began driving for DoorDash, Grubhub, and Amazon Flex to make extra money.
Hey TikTok, my name is David Levinson, a once successful business owner, now sleeping in my car. Some of you may recognize me from a story that Kyla Zhao put out a few days ago. To be honest, I didn't expect all this attention so quickly after launching my website, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com, just a week ago. I'm embarrassed to admit that I wasn't exactly prepared for the amount of views, over 300,000 clicks on the website in just a week. For those that don't know, I was a self-made entrepreneur who founded my own startups, one of which Kim Kardashian stole. I tried to sue her for fraud, but that didn't work out for multiple reasons. My attorney at the time, for some reason, started suggesting I voluntarily withdraw the lawsuit and try arbitration instead. He said maybe he can sort it out on the golf course with their family attorney. Then Kim and Chris decided to kick me when I was down. When I didn't follow through with arbitration, I got other advice that was a bad idea. They had their attorneys send process servers to serve me papers to pay their $400,000 in legal fees, harassing my family.
David said that he knew as long as he kept his mouth shut, he would be left alone by Kim. But now that he'd lost everything, there was no point in keeping quiet. As of a couple months ago, David moved from Oklahoma City and now can be seen on the streets of LA holding up a poster that reads KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com. He used his phone to create a website detailing how Kim allegedly took his idea and ran, ruining his life as a result. Since he didn't sign an NDA, David was free to speak on what happened to him. The website's homepage reads, "Kim K ruined my life just so she could have her face and butt as an emoji." The site also accuses Kim of fraud. David could potentially refile his lawsuit, but the only issue is that he doesn't have the funds to keep fighting Kim and her team in court. And this is the way that celebrities often win court battles because they can typically just afford to draw them out longer than the other party. The website also has links to a tell-all interview of David's, as well as some exchanges between himself and Kim to support his claims.
So Kim Kardashian called me and asked me if I'd filed the trademark.
And your reply?
I replied, not yet. We were waiting to do it through our new business together. Even though it was our idea, since her name was a part of it, we felt weird securing that trademark under our business and not the new business that we were creating together. When she had called and asked if it was marked yet, when we said no, she had hung up the phone. She said, okay, well, great. We're going to go ahead and do it. Everything's a go. We're moving forward with all the projects. She was acting.
T-shirts are also sold on the site to support David. They go for $30 each and just say on them, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com. There's also a spot on the website to make direct donations to presumably either help David in his day-to-day life or to help him save up for his legal battle. There's also a link to an Indiegogo campaign that has raised a little over $3,000 of its $1 million goal. David claims in the description, "The trauma I've endured from this situation has been debilitating. Living in a Kardashian-infested world has made this experience especially triggering. Everywhere I turn, there they are. The media pushes them onto us against our will day after day. They're undeniably unavoidable. As of now, the website says that David has a full story and a timeline coming soon. And though this has been going on for years, David really started speaking up about his side of the story around April. Several outlets reported on the story initially, but it's since gotten pretty quiet. I was looking for more updates and then found someone on the Kardashian Snark Reddit thread from just a couple days ago asking whatever came of David Levinson speaking out. Some claim the media refused to continue picking up his story, though gave no reasons as to why. An account by the name of SkaterRat79, who might be David but it's unconfirmed, was also responding to people in the forum. Though his name doesn't appear in the account, there is a link to the Kim Kardashian RuinedMyLife.com site in the bio, as well as several other response posts regarding the Kimoji lawsuit. SkaterRat79 claimed, "Believe me, I'm doing everything I can think of. I'm open to suggestions and would love to hear what you guys think. More outlets are interviewing me, but those stories may get buried behind 20 other BS stories her publicity team cranks out. Eventually the momentum will be too much to ignore." The allegedly David Reddit account claimed that despite this, there are still some journalists he's working with to try to get a story further into the mainstream media. The most recent thing I've seen is that as of a couple weeks ago, Kim's legal team sent David a cease and desist over his website. Oddly, if you just Google Kimoji cease and desist or Kim or David's name and then cease and desist, not much from the big news outlets comes up. But you do see a lot of smaller sites, Redditors, and YouTubers talking about it. David also took to TikTok to talk about the cease and desist and to, of course, say he will be ignoring it.
Well, I got a cease and desist email from the Card Jenner Bulldog attorneys that I'll clearly be ignoring. It's not defamatory if it's true. They had the nerve to say Kimoji lost $244,000 in his email. This seems like more BS or to show a loss for taxes since they sell stuff with the Kimoji name on it to this day. They didn't address Centigram yet either. I cannot roll my eyes hard enough.
And you know, at the end of the day, if David's side of the story is true, or even if his version of the story is the one that's closest to the truth, I do hope that he gets a fair shot and a fair day in court to defend himself. And I also hope that no matter what, he gets the support that he needs to be able to get back up on his feet, because it is just terrible that this happened to him. And from what we've heard from him, that he was just trying to partner with someone, I don't want to say out of the kindness of his heart, because at the end of the day, it is about money, but he thought that he was entering into at least, you know, an equal or a fair partnership. And a lot of his ideas, his money got taken away from him in the result. And then like his life and his family kind of got taken away from him once he tried to defend himself. So like I said, everyone has their own side of the story, but everyone also has the right to defend themselves. And I will also say that the Kardashians do have a track record with stuff like this. I've made a whole video on it, and I don't even think in that video I included all of those cases. So I am more inclined to believe David's side of the story, but I do also have to acknowledge that nothing has been proven. I don't want to say nothing has been proven, but I have to acknowledge that no actual verdict has been made yet. But of course, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think, so if you do have an opinion, go ahead and drop it below. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can stick around for more. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter if you'd like to keep up with me there. And if you would love to become a channel member, the link is in the video's description. Again, thank you all so very much for watching. I love you so very much, and we'll see you so very soon. Bye-bye.